Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Joseph Sule. They call me the teacherpreneur. They call me the digital hustler. Welcome to today's webinar, the second part of the webinar in the series Teach, Earn, and Hustle, how to make money beyond your salary as a classroom teacher. Last week, we started this series and we looked at the value exchange. We looked at what it means to have value and what it means to exchange that value for something. And I promised last week that today I'm going to bring a value. After understanding what a value is, I promise that in the subsequent weeks, I'm going to bring one value each week that you can create as a teacher and exchange it for money as a side hustle so that you don't have to rely on that your salary that comes once in a month. You can have a side income to augment your salary. Today's webinar is all about publishing children's book as a value asset that you can have and exchange for money. So once again, I welcome you to today's wonderful webinar. We're going to have a good time, trust me. Now, I'm going to share my slide as we start. If you can see my slide, I would love you to give me a 1 in the chat so that I'm sure you're seeing my slide. All right, thank you. Why teachers should create children's book. Okay. As we start, today's webinar is titled How to Write a Children's Book That Teaches, Touches, and Even Pays. You want to write a children's book that does three things. It teaches, it touches, and it pays. And we are going to see what this means as we move forward. But before we move forward, I want you to look at your screen. You can see a book there, The Missing Birthday Cake, right? This is a book that I wrote recently to celebrate my child's birthday. And we're going to talk about this book even as we continue this webinar. A beautifully illustrated, we can see a child there in front of a cake with balloons all over him. Now, why should teachers write books? You already create lessons. You tell stories almost every day. Almost every lesson, you tell stories to illustrate a point, to make the children understand a concept. You play games, you sing songs, you do all sorts of things. Why not translate this thing into assets that you can exchange as values for money? If you had your, I mean, yesterday I extended invitations to so many of my friends to attend one of the webinars, one of the clubs I belong to, the Kingdompreneur Club. If you were in that webinar, you will have heard our mentor say something. When you write books, you leave behind a legacy. And apart from that, books help you to create a source of income. Now, I am asking you this question. Why not write a book? One, you leave a legacy. It helps you stand out. Teachers who stand out have the potential to make money. And you are wondering how. I'm going to dwell a little on this slide, okay? Because I need to explain this very well. You understand this very well, then you know where we're heading to. When you set yourself apart, you put yourself on the path of success. When you write a book, the first book might not sell, the second one might not sell, the third one might not even sell. But eventually, as you write and you continue writing and you continue writing, you force the world to take note of you. Now, you set yourself apart from other teachers. You are not just the regular teacher that comes into the classroom and teaches and go. You set yourself apart. If there is any seminar that the school wants to send somebody to, you'll be one of the first people they'll contact because they think that, this one has substance in his head. Also, writing a book opens you to a lot of opportunities. Schools doing seminars and they want to invite people, you'll be some of the few people they will contact because they feel you are an authority in that area. They feel you are creative. They feel you are innovative. And you have things to show for it. You are not just claiming that you are innovative. You have written books. Everybody is seeing your books. They know you have substance. Okay. So you already create lessons, you tell stories, you play games, you do all sorts of things in your classroom. These things are assets that you can translate into a book. It is time to turn them into assets. Secondly, you understand children. Who understands children better than the teacher? You know what the children need. You know the kind of things that appeal to the children. You know the kind of thing that makes them, sustains their interest. So you put these things into a book, and then the children will be interested in listening to that book. Also, you write daily. My fear teacher say I can't write, I don't know what to write, but you write lesson plans every day. Some of your lesson plans are so unique that when people go elsewhere, they will not find a lesson plan like yours. So if you can write such a unique lesson plan, then you can write a storybook. And then this is key. The world today, as we are, need value-based books. Parents are looking for books that will teach their children something in a fun and engaging manner. Teachers are looking for books that will help them deliver their lessons in a very interesting and engaging manner. And some of these books are hard to come by today. I am telling you, as a teacher, I have done a research, and I can tell you that value-based books are scarce now. Most of the storybooks we have out there are not really selling anything of value to the children. So parents are looking for books like this. Schools are looking for books like this. So why not start writing value-based books and selling them? Now, what makes a children's book great? Number one, it must teach something. It must teach a value. It must teach a skill. It could be anything. That is the interesting thing about children's book. It is not like an academic paper that you have to take a particular subject and dwell on it. Children's book, you can write on just about anything. It could teach them colors. It could be a book teaching character, maybe how to greet elders. It could be a book teaching social skills, how to relate positively with people around you. It could be a book about maybe good toilet habits. It could be a book that teaches them how to wash their sock, their underwear, their shirt, small laundry. It could be anything, but it must be a book that teaches a value or a skill. It should also be a book that touches the heart. And what do I mean by this? A great children's book must remain in the mind of the reader long after it has been read. 2 days later, 3 days later, the child is still reflecting on the book. A month later, the child is still talking about the book because the book is interesting. Earlier on in my slide, you saw that book I displayed, right? The book that some of you are aware of, The Missing Birthday Cake, which I wrote in celebration of my child's birthday. 4 days, a week later, my child was still talking about that book, including the children in his classroom. And what was the strategy I employed? I wrote the book around my child's birthday, using my child as the main character, but then each child in his classroom was also a character in the story plot. So I went to his school on his birthday to celebrate him, and I read the book to the entire classroom. I sought for permission from the admin, and they granted me permission. And for about 10 minutes, I read the book. And each child was hearing his or her name in the storybook. And I heard that they went back home and they were telling their parents, oh, they had this wonderful time with daddy and Denzel's daddy. He read a book, their names were mentioned. It was touching them because for the first time they were hearing their names in a story. Before now, it's not like people have not read storybooks to them. They have, but they have never heard their names in the storybook. So it touched their heart. A great children's book touches the heart. You want to write a book that will leave a lasting impression in the mind of the reader, that young child. Also, your book must entertain. It must be fun. It must be imaginative in nature. Children's books are not like adult books. They are not academic papers. So you don't do them in black and white prints. Okay, small type fonts. No pictures, no illustrations, just blank like that. Well, adults can sit down and read black and white novels of 300 pages. No problem. They are adults. They have a great command of attention span. But children know. So you want to make your book colorful. You want to bring in illustrations. You want to bring in imaginations. You want to bring fun inside it. Okay. Great books are short, clear, and meaningful. And this is one sweet thing about children's book. It doesn't even have to be a lot of pages. 10 pages, 12 pages, 15 pages, 20 pages, depending on the age group. Like for 4-year-olds, it doesn't even need to go beyond 20 pages. Just simple, colorful illustrations, and you're done with it. But remember this, great books are short, clear, and meaningful. Now, let's look at 3 steps, okay, to help you get your book running. Number 1, start with a strong story idea. Again, this is a place where I've heard so many teachers are facing challenges. I don't have an idea of what story to write about. And I want to tell you that inspirations are bound around you every single day. Whenever you step into your classroom, the activities you do with your pupils can be an inspiration for a story. As you are walking to school, the things you see as you enter that keke and you transport yourself from your house to your school, things happen along the way. There could be inspirations for story. You are coming back home, you see things again, inspiration for story. You go to the market, you see things. All around you are activities happening which can be inspiration for strong story ideas. How did I come up with the missing birthday cake? I was just discussing with my child who is just 4 years old, and he was talking about this is birthday. He wants cake because he wants to share it with his friends. He has never shared birthday cake with his friends, and his friends have been sharing their own with him, so he wants to share. And we started talking, and then he was just talking about if the cake is not available or if somebody carries the cake away. And that was where the idea came to me. Okay, how about a story about a birthday where the cake got missing? And then I sat down and I started polishing the story, wrote the script out, gave it to 2 or 3 friends and told them to just critique it for me quickly. They did all of this within 48 hours. And they came back with suggestions and ideas, and then I polished the thing further. And finally, here we have a book. If you go to Seller, you'll see it. Start with a strong story idea. You don't have to sit down and try to create a story directly from your imagination. You can pick events around you and then build on it, bring in your imagination and pull it out. Structure it and write it simply. That's another beautiful thing about children's book. It's not about the vocabulary, except if you are trying to teach them new words. It's not about how realistic it is, except if you are trying to teach them a biography. It could be an imaginative story. It could be a magical story. It could just be a fun story. Just structure it and write it simply. Okay? Package it. Package it well. Thank God for the advent of the internet today. You can even self-publish professionally also and sell your book. Many times when I talk to teachers about writing books, they tell me that I don't have the money to print. You don't have to wait until you have the money to print. My business mentor, Bishop Ibro, will tell me, have something on ground. As long as you don't have something on ground, nobody takes you serious. That my book, The Missing Birthday Cake, I don't even have a hard print for it. I just made the soft copy, uploaded it to Seller. There are various platforms you can upload your books to and sell. Uploaded it to Seller. And I said, this is free for the first 24 hours. I mean, for the next 24 hours as part of our birthday celebration. It's free. And I'm telling you, within 24 hours, I had 20 people downloading that book. Now, imagine if I decided to sell the book, maybe 1,000 naira per copy. That would have been 20,000 naira just sitting down. Or even 500 naira, that would have been 10,000 naira. Write the book, start something, put it on the platform. When people see it and they love it, some people might request for the hard copy. Then if you have enough requests, you can collect part payment, go print the book out, and then sell, give them, and collect your balance. Or you can launch the book. From the money you get from launching the book, you print the hard copies, a few copies, you sell and get some money and print some more as the demand dictates, until you have the number you want. But you must start with something. All these excuses of not starting will not get you anywhere. Until you start, you will not move. Okay, so start with a strong story idea, structure it and write it simply, package and publish it professionally. Please, if this webinar is making sense so far to you, I would love you to give me a 1 on the chat so that I know we are having value for our time. If it's making sense to you so far, just give me a 1 on the chat. Okay, now let's move on. Look at this. I hope you are seeing my slide very well. Common obstacles teachers face and solutions to these obstacles. Okay. 1, I'm not a professional writer. Teachers will always mention this. I'm not a professional writer. You're asking me to write a book. I have never written a book before. I'm not a professional writer. Well, you might not be a professional writer in code, but you are a writer. And me, I would disagree with you. You are actually a professional writer. Are your lesson plans not professional documents? They are. Because if you write a lesson plan today to deliver a lesson tomorrow, and then God forbid you fall sick this evening, tomorrow you are not able to come to school, they will call a substitute teacher. And that substitute teacher is actually expected to pick the lesson plan you have written and deliver the lesson with it. That makes your document professional. That's what we have been taught as teachers. Our lesson plan should be able, every teacher should be able to work with what we have written. So when you say you are not a professional writer, you are just not, I would rather say you are not a commercial writer, but you are a professional writer. You write lesson plans every day. You design lesson plans every week. You are a writer. If you can write lesson plans every day, you can write a storybook. You can write a children's storybook. So that excuse will not work. I don't have time. Well, good. You may not have time because I know some schools can be quite demanding. But you can take 1 page at a day. You don't have to finish the entire book in a day. You can just simply come up with a plan. Each day, write a chapter or a page. Tomorrow, another chapter or a page. Next tomorrow, another chapter or a page. And before you know it, you'll be done.